to choose between intelligence and just plain bulling on through things, whatever you want to call it, drive, whatever you want to choose to call it, which would you choose? I know you can have both in most instances, but the point is, if you had to pick one or the other, which would you pick? That is what I wanted to talk on today in my little piece called Intelligence and Drive for the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host, I'm Kurt, and today is Tuesday the 13th of July of 2021. Welcome to everyone who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Remember that Rumble is my preferred platform because there is censorship occurring on YouTube and because I'm not keeping up on my podcast as I'd like to be doing. So, and in the course of time, I hope to get that caught up, but it's going to take me a while to do it when I finally get around to it. So again, today's subject is going to be intelligence and drive. And let me just dive into my notes and read them very quickly so that you can get an idea of where I'm coming from. I saw something recently that expressed a realization I'd come to some time back. Having a high IQ is not as fantastic a thing as you might think. Lots of people with good intelligence lack something way more important. You might have guessed from the title of this piece what that is. That's correct. It's drive. As that person stated, ambition. You may be smart to beat the band. If you're not driven, it really matters very little, though. Obviously, having both drive and intelligence beats having just one of the two. That said, if I had the choice, I would almost invariably choose motivation over knowledge and ability to process, which is what I consider to be intelligence, right? Is knowledge and ability to process. And that's pretty much the end of my notes. So let me get on with the actual piece that I'm doing right now. So here's the thing. I've always scored highly on tests. I've always found people around me thinking that I was intelligent, that I had wisdom, that I had ability. But the problem is I've not tended to be nearly as motivated as a person should be when doing various things that I need to do. And what this does is it means that a person like me will try to do things, and their intelligence will allow them to do it lots of times, but they won't have that ability, I won't have that ability specifically, to kind of get through using drive the things that I know need to be done. I just won't have it. So this is a problem for me. This is something that I deal with. And I think a lot of people who are intelligent have this very same problem. They have the intelligence, they don't have the drive. Now you've probably noticed certain people who've done amazing things with their life. They're worth millions or billions or however much money, they live in nice houses, they do what they want, they have people working for them, and so forth and so on. And I have not tended to be that guy. And this is because where I have the intelligence, to a sufficient degree to do the things I want to do, I don't have the drive lots of times, and I'm working on trying to generate that drive. But I think for a person who's really a self-starter, it becomes very obvious that that individual has that ability, right? They do. They just do. So I think that if you want to, if say you're a parent and you want for your children to have the best life, there's absolutely nothing in the world wrong with getting them to the point where they learn all kinds of cool stuff. In fact, I think that's important. And knowing that they have, the ability to process, well, that's nice too. But the thing that you need to instill in your children is, if you want to get things done, your motivation, your drive is every bit as important as your intelligence. Because if you don't possess that motivation, if you don't possess that intelligence, you're going to have a hard time of it. That's just that simple, and you just have to keep that in mind, right? So that's an important consideration. And that's something for you to consider as an adult, too. If you're intelligent, lovely. That's wonderful. Now it's time for you to find out what things move you around and to make it so that things move you around that maybe when you were younger did not, or maybe you're that kind of person like me who's sort of lackluster in terms of their motivation a lot of times, and you just need to work on finding anything that's going to motivate you towards the things that you want to accomplish. I know that that's the way things have tended to work for me. So I just want to, kind of pound that in, right? I've had many circumstances where I've had the opportunity to achieve all kinds of things, and my intelligence has been sufficient to make it possible for me to do that. The problem is my drive really hasn't, in lots of circumstances. And I think that you're going to find that for a lot of different people. I've worked in a lot of different positions, and people have looked at me and gone, meh, he's okay, but he's nothing special. And that, I think, is a failure on my part where drive is concerned. Again, the intelligence isn't a problem for me. My family is by nature intelligent, and I'm not saying that in order to lift myself up or puff myself up or anything like that. I'm just saying it because it tends to be true. I'm also telling you, and this is what's important, that all of that being true doesn't really matter if you do not have the necessary stuff to actually push on through and accomplish the things that you're intending to accomplish and trying to accomplish. Now, I will grant you that there may be some other things that I'm missing, like sometimes I might not put things together as well as I should. But really, truly, I think the one thing that I lack in lots of instances, and I've gotten a lot better about this over the time, is that ability to push forward through times of difficulty. And that's a very important thing. It's very, this is what people don't realize about driven people. They're not just people who can push forward. They're people who take adversity and work their way through it. They continue to do what needs to be done. They continue to move forward even in times when they're working against odds that seem like they're going to be unbeatable. People who probably beat cancer as opposed to people who don't, I hate to say this, but part of that at least is drive. Part of it may be a good immune system. Any number of things may factor into it, catching it earlier, whatever, that may factor into it as well. But the point is that out of everything I can imagine being beneficial to a person, the ability to move forward even in dire or dark circumstances is one of those things that I think is super, super important if you really want to succeed in life. And it's, by the way, I would say in many regards, why I have not been as successful in life myself as I would like to have been. And I want to point something out here. Oh, I'm very intelligent. Who cares? Who cares if I'm very intelligent? This is why I don't have a problem saying I've been taken for a person with a lot of intelligence, because I don't think intelligence is all it's cracked up to be, quite frankly. I think that more people would be way better off if they took the time and the effort to develop motivations for themselves and the things that they do, and to kind of toss away things that are not helpful, not useful in getting where they want to go and doing what they want to do. I really think that that's very important, and that you have to take that into consideration. And I think it's a heck of a lot more important than intelligence. And that's a cool thing. Why? Because it means that a person who's maybe not the sharpest knife in the drawer is still somebody who, if they're willing to be driven and willing to work just a little bit, willing to be tenacious, willing to bulldog through it, those people can actually succeed where people who are more intelligent will not do so. And that's an important consideration. It means if you're not intelligent, or you've got a kid that's not all that intelligent, that doesn't mean they're not going to succeed. If they're motivated to a given end, or a set of ends, whatever, right? If they're motivated to a variety of things, those individuals can accomplish an awful lot even without super hyper intelligence, right? You don't need that. In fact, in some instances, I think it's the sort of the opposite of beneficial. It's detrimental, if you will, right, to be intelligent, because you think about things and think about things and think about things, and people who maybe aren't so intelligent, they do things. They accomplish things. They make their way through things that are important, and they get things done. And those people, a lot of times, are the people who are going to succeed. They're going to figure it out. They're going to maybe take a simplistic view on it. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And they're going to be driven towards results. And that's the thing that we all need, the thing that I need more. All right? And you may think I'm talking to you like a kid. No, I'm just trying to share the benefit of the things that I've learned over the course of time about myself. Yeah, I'm great, I'm intelligent, fine. But if you're driven, you're probably in a much better situation, much better circumstance. Okay, I need to go ahead and wrap up. It's getting to be the end of my video. I'm trying again new configuration and hoping that this one will do a better job for me. This has been the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt. Today is the 13th of July of 2021, and it is a Tuesday. Tomorrow will be, therefore, Wednesday, the 14th of July of 2021. Thank you for having come on Rumble, on podcast, on the YouTube. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform out of anywhere you can watch me. You can give me a positive Rumble on Rumble or a negative one if you feel the need to do so. You can give me a like or a thumbs up or a dislike or a thumbs down on YouTube if you want to do that. On either platform, you can comment on what I've said. That will help me to know what I can do to improve my videos. The subject for today has been intelligence and drive, and tomorrow we're going to talk about an interesting idea that Tim Pool brought on called location and crime. I think this is something that a lot of people miss when they talk about the idea of crime. All right, I need to go ahead and wrap up now. I hope you're having a good day. Hope things are working out well for you, and hopefully we will see you again on tomorrow's edition of The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Tuesday, the 13th of July of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, and maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.